Lauder in closing.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'd like to thank all members for their contribution today, and it is lovely to see that we're in furious agreement that there should be a Chief Engineer coming up very shortly. But I'd like to remind you of the wording of the Chief Minister's media release a year ago, 4th of June, where he said, "I've asked the Minister for Planning and Land Management, Mr Gentleman," to actually in the media release it says Mick Gentleman, but I'm trying to be respectful, Mick Gentleman, to take responsibility for the development of the Chief Engineer position. As I committed during the election process, this position will be filled in the next financial year. So either the Chief Minister was perhaps unduly optimistic, or Mr Gentleman has been tardy, but neither of them have actually achieved what the Chief Minister outlined. It's good to know that it's going to happen shortly, but unless it's going to be announced in the next couple of weeks before the end of June, you never know your luck. Well, I will look forward to that, because the end result is what matters here. But it is interesting that Mr Gentleman mentioned that he's been engaging with key stakeholders, as have I. And some of the comments I've received from some of the stakeholders include a quote from the ACT manager for Consult Australia. He says, this position is not about a ship's engine room. It's about seeing the horizon, maintaining direction amidst short-term pressures and political storms, whilst being able to tweak the engine room if need be. It's strategic, and she or he, i.e. the Chief Engineer, must do as all great cities do, think in decades and plan for the future. And from another of the peak bodies that was in the consultation process, the quote is, they're concerned, a quote, concerned that without clear additional funding, the role of Chief Engineer will be unlikely to deliver the benefits that are possible if there was an appropriately funded Chief Engineer position. So I don't think everything is necessarily as well settled as it could be with the position of the Chief Engineer. At this point, I will take in good faith Mr Gentleman's assurance that the position is going to be filled soon, despite the fact that it has been quite some time in the making, 18 months or more since the election promise, and 12 months since the Chief Minister made the announcement and asked Mr Gentleman to fill the position within the year. So hopefully that will be done in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we as a city will gain the benefits of that appointment of the Chief Engineer. It's something that we all agree is important. It's something that will bring benefits to the ACT community, and it's just a pity that it has taken this long for the relevant minister to actually put the rubber on the road and get on with the appointment. It's something that has had a long time in the making. Apparently, I think, according to the minister's points today, he's had a number of meetings with stakeholders over that time, and I'll look forward to perhaps learning more about that process and how many meetings there have been and how long they've taken. But I will leave it there, and I would like to thank all members for their commitment, and I'll look forward to the appointment of the Chief Engineer.
Thank you, Ms Lauder. The question is that Mr Gentleman's amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that the motion as amended be agreed to. Those of that opinion say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Members, it being 6 p.m, I propose the question the Assembly do now adjourn. Minister Gentleman.